There comes a moment, and maybe you've already felt it. You realize that the life you're living isn't the one you want. You look in the mirror, and the reflection staring back doesn't feel like you anymore. You know you're capable of more, but somewhere along the way, you stop moving forward. That's the wake-up call. The moment when you understand this version of you has reached its limit, and if you don't change, if you don't adapt, you'll stay stuck here. That's when you face a choice. Do you keep carrying the same story, the same excuses, the same habits that built the version of you no longer respect? Or do you tear it all down and rebuild yourself from scratch? It's not an easy decision. Rebuilding means admitting the old structure isn't strong enough. It means facing the truth about where you've been weak, where you've been blind, where you've let yourself down. That hurts, but it's necessary. You can't build a powerful future on a weak foundation. You can't carry old baggage into a new chapter and expect it to feel different. If you want transformation, you have to strip it all down. And starting over doesn't mean you failed. It means you're brave enough to evolve. Most people cling to their old identity, even when it's killing them. They cling to routines that no longer serve them. They cling to comfort because comfort feels safe. But you, if you're still listening, if you feel this in your chest, then you're not most people. You're ready to let go of who you were. You're ready to rebuild. And that starts with honesty. Not the version of honesty you tell other people. The kind you tell yourself when it's just you. The honesty that strips away all the excuses. Why aren't you where you want to be? What choices led you here? What habits are keeping you trapped? When you answer those questions, not with judgment, but with truth, you finally gain clarity. And clarity is the first brick in the foundation of the new you. Once you know where you've been weak, you can choose to become strong. Once you see what's been broken, you can start to rebuild it. This is where the journey begins. Not with some grand action, not with some big leap, but with the quiet courage to admit it's time to start again. Rebuilding doesn't start with adding, it starts with removing. You don't lay a new foundation on top of a broken one. You don't build a future self on top of habits that are destroying you. So the first step is destruction, and that's the part most people run from. Tearing down the old version of yourself. That hurts. It feels like loss. It feels like cutting away pieces of who you've been. But those pieces are the very chains holding you down. The habits that keep you weak. The voices that keep you small. The routines that make you feel safe but never move you forward. You have to let them go, one by one, even when it feels like ripping skin from bone. Because until you break down what's been holding you back, you can't rebuild into who you're meant to be. Maybe it's the people who drain you, the ones who laugh when you talk about your dreams, the ones who would rather keep you stuck than risk watching you grow. Maybe it's the environment, the same room, the same streets, the same places that trigger the same cycles. Maybe it's the excuses, the comfort food, the endless scrolling, the numbing habits that take your fire and put it to sleep. Whatever it is, you already know what has to go. You feel it. This step is brutal because destruction isn't glamorous. It's quiet. It's lonely. It's you sitting in silence, choosing to cut away the old version of yourself, even when it feels like it's all you've ever known. But if you can endure this step, something happens. Space opens up, and space is freedom. When you remove the old, you create room for the new. When you say no to what holds you down, you give yourself a chance to rise. It's like clearing a field. At first, it just looks empty, but what you don't see yet is the potential. Every strong tree starts in empty soil. Every new chapter starts with a blank page, and every new self begins with tearing down the old one. So don't be afraid of destruction. Don't be afraid of letting go. You're not losing yourself. You're making room to finally meet the real you. And when the dust settles, when you stand in that empty space with nothing but possibility in front of you, you'll understand something most people never learn. Destruction wasn't the end. It was the beginning. Once you've torn it all down, you're left with space, silence, a blank canvas. And that's where the blueprint begins. Most people rush here. They want to skip the destruction and jump straight into new me energy. But if you've done the hard part, if you've let go, if you've cleared the ground, then you're ready to build something that actually lasts. So ask yourself, what do you want to stand for? What values do you want stitched into the core of who you are? What disciplines will shape the future version of you? This is your blueprint. And a blueprint isn't a wish, it's a plan. This is where you design the habits that will carry you forward. Not grand gestures, not impossible promises, simple daily actions. You want strength? It's built rep by rep, day after day. You want wisdom? It's built page by page, night after night. You want discipline? It's built choice by choice when no one is watching. That's the power of a blueprint. It doesn't live in the clouds, it lives in the dirt. In the small, unglamorous steps you commit to every single day. And here's where adaptation comes in. Life will shift, circumstances will change, nothing stays still. And the blueprint isn't about perfection, it's about direction. If the path twists, you adjust your steps. If the foundation cracks, you reinforce it. If the storm comes, you bend without breaking. That's how you rebuild. Not once, but over and over again. You're not just creating a version of yourself that looks good when things are easy. You're creating a version that survives chaos, that thrives in pressure, that adapts when everything around it changes. So write your blueprint in ink, but hold the pen in your hand. Keep it steady, but be ready to draw new lines. And don't overcomplicate it. Focus on what matters. Focus on what will actually shape you. Your routines, your habits, your mindset, your daily disciplines. That's the real architecture of change. Not talking about it, not dreaming about it. Doing it, brick by brick, day by day. At first it won't look like much, just like a construction site. Messy, unfinished, raw. But if you trust the blueprint, if you stay with it, one day you'll look around and realize you're standing inside the life you once imagined. You're living inside the structure you designed, and it all started with the courage to sketch a new blueprint and the discipline to follow it. Now comes the part nobody wants to talk about. The grind, the reconstruction, the long, quiet middle of the journey. This is where most people give up, not because it's impossible, but because it's boring. You build a blueprint, you start laying bricks, and then nothing seems to happen. Day 1, no change. Day 5, still nothing. Day 30, you look in the mirror, and it feels like you're stuck in the same place. And that's when the doubts creep in. That voice in your head that whispers, "Why bother? This isn't working. You're wasting your time." That's the test, and it's brutal. Growth doesn't announce itself. Transformation doesn't happen with fireworks. It happens quietly, invisibly in the background, stacking up while you're not even noticing. The grind is showing up when you feel nothing. The grind is doing the work even when motivation is gone. The grind is choosing discipline over and over again until it becomes who you are. And yes, it will be lonely. You'll be up when others are sleeping. You'll be working when others are relaxing. You'll be choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure. People won't see it. They won't clap for you. They won't understand why you're sacrificing so much for something that doesn't even exist yet, but you'll know. Deep down, you'll know. Every rep, every page, every early morning, every late night, every brick you lay, it's stacking up. And one day it hits you. The progress wasn't missing, it was just hidden. And when it shows all at once. but only if you stay, only if you endure the grind, only if you trust the process enough to keep building, brick by brick, even when the results don't show up right away. This is where resilience is born. Not in the easy days, not when everything feels smooth, but in the days when you're tired, frustrated, doubting yourself, and you still show up anyway. That's what separates those who rebuild from those who collapse. That's the difference between quitting halfway and becoming unrecognizable a year from now. And remember this, every time you show up in the grind, you're not just building the new version of yourself. You're proving the old version wrong, the version that wanted comfort, the version that wanted excuses, the version that always quit early. With every step, every choice, every moment of discipline, you're bearing that old self. And brick by brick, you're raising the new one. So don't run from the grind. Don't fear the silence. Don't mistake slow progress for no progress. This is the reconstruction. This is the rebirth. This is the part that forges you into something no one can take away. At some point, the grind pays off. At some point, you look in the mirror and you don't recognize the person staring back. Not because you became someone else, but because you finally became the person you were meant to be. Rebuild doesn't erase you. It doesn't destroy who you were. It reveals who you always had the potential to be. When you rebuild, you're not adding random pieces to your life. You're stripping away the parts that held you back. You're carving out the weaknesses, the excuses, the laziness, the old patterns. And what's left is the raw, unshakable core. That's you. That's the new you. That's the redefined version of your life. This stage isn't about celebration. It's not about showing off to others. It's not about look at me now. It's about knowing what you've been through, knowing what it took to get here, knowing you survived nights of doubt, mornings of fatigue, moments where you almost gave up. That's not pride, that's certainty, that's strength. And from this place, life changes. Not because the world suddenly got easier, not because obstacles disappeared, but because you changed. And now, you carry something inside that can't be shaken. Discipline, patience, resilience, clarity. Those are no longer goals you're chasing. They're who you are now. They're your identity. Once you rebuild yourself, you become unstoppable. Now you understand something most people never will. The old you died, and you proved to yourself that you can build again. Do you realize how powerful that is? To know without a doubt that you can tear it all down and rebuild? To know you don't need perfect circumstances, the right timing, or approval from others? To know that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you can start again? That is freedom. That is strength. That is the warrior's mindset. And that's why this matters. Rebuilding yourself from scratch isn't just about achieving goals. It's about proving that you don't need to be afraid of starting over. Most people fear it. They cling to comfort. They cling to old identities. They cling to the little stability they have, even if it's destroying them. But not you, not anymore. You've rebuilt, you've endured, you've carried yourself through the silence, the grind, the loneliness, the setbacks, and you came out standing. That's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes you powerful. That's what makes you unshakable. And now, you're ready. Ready for whatever life throws at you next. Ready for the storms, the struggles, the unexpected hits. Because you know how to adapt. You know how to change. You know how to build again. This version of you, the one that rises after rebuilding, this is the real you. The one that doesn't break. The one that doesn't stop. The one that never bows to excuses or doubt or fear. And when the next chapter begins, because it will, you'll step into it with a quiet confidence. Not the loud kind that needs validation. Not the shallow kind that comes from showing off. But the deep kind. The kind that sits in your chest and whispers, "I've done the impossible before. I can do it again." That's the mindset you carry. That's the reward. And maybe nobody else will understand. They won't see the sacrifices. They won't see the pain. They won't see the countless days where nothing seemed to move forward. But you'll know. You'll always know. And that's enough. Because in the end, rebuilding yourself from scratch isn't about applause. It's not about validation. It's not even about the end result. It's about the process, the grind, the quiet victories that no one else saw. The battle between who you were and who you chose to become. Every setback, every failure, every painful night, every lonely morning, every moment you wanted to quit but didn't, it was all worth it. This is the version of you that was always waiting to be built. So don't fear starting over. Don't fear the grind. Don't fear the silence, the loneliness, or the doubt. Rebuilding yourself from scratch isn't the end. It's the beginning of a life you chose to create, the beginning of a self you earned. And now, it's time to live it.